Hey guys, my name is Moon and welcome back for more Tsukihime, A Piece of Blue Glass Moon. So last episode, it was a little bit more, I guess, a calmer episode, right? It is more on the conversations on what they're gonna do, I guess, in today's episode, right? On the battle against Vlov. So let us continue. Let's see what happens today. The monolith towers before me, an enormous cube-shaped hole in the world. The sides of the box are transparent, measuring over 40 meters each. The texture of its surface reminds me of acrylic plastic. Its blue-black tint isn't due to its walls, but to what they hold inside. White hailstones swirl about within. Icicles stand arrayed like fangs. A cold beyond human comprehension strains against its confines. This isn't a box, it's a cage. A cage for that which should not exist. A prison for that which must not be allowed to roam free upon the earth. And inside of it,
Senpai!
CL is fighting with Vlov. She's in there, in a winter storm bitter enough to freeze the breath in her lungs. She's in there all alone dueling with Vlov. You can hear the machine gun sounds, right? Or the gun sounds, I guess. The princess, I would say the princess versus the knight. The blizzard approaches negative 100 degrees Celsius. A cold more extreme than any natural temperature on the surface of the planet. In this icy wasteland so hostile to life, two warriors clash. One is Vlov Archangel, the wellspring of this frozen scourge. The other, an executor, a young girl clad in armor. The fury of the blizzard blinds them. The grinding of the glacier underfoot thwarts their steps. And as their every breath brings them closer to death, bullets of ice clash against bullets of steel. 60 minutes have elapsed since this battle began. That it still continues is a marvel in and itself. A handheld ballista dispenses a shower of 7.62mm fireworks. The bulky rounds, known and feared for their excessive firepower, streak toward the vampire. Look at CL's, I guess, her body, her armor, her hair. Yeah, it's full of snow. They've been fighting for a long time. On human battlefields, the brutality of the 8mm and 9mm bullets is typically harnessed to incapacitate rather than to kill, but this is no weapon for human battlefields. This is a tool for the vampire killer of the modern age, crafted to obliterate the flesh and metal alike. Its name is Blaze, a personal mystic code of the executor CL. The emulation type, one of the 7 causes of death born by her holy scripture. Damn, that's a lot. Its rain of bullets would shred a dead apostle whose power was measured in decades, but this vampire counts his age in centuries. Hot metal beats biting cold. Modern technology meets the primal wrath of the planet. Their clash echoes the timeless struggle between man and nature. The vampire stands immobile, immutable. This arctic landscape is a hell of his own making. His greatest fear made manifest. The fear of freezing for a want of blood. From this curse, Vlov Archangel draws his immortality. But so too does it bind him in frigid chains, and so long as it commands him, he remains rooted to the earth. Until the warmth of blood quickens him once more, he will remain where he stands, capable only of spreading his blight. However, the curse he bears is vast. Vast enough to swallow a city, but it cannot naturally produce a cold this intense. The Executor has created these conditions by choice. Ordinarily, the vampire's influence would extend 4 kilometers in all directions, but enclosing it within a 40-meter cubic cage has condensed it to the extreme. The Executor's bounded field and her own body are, in a sense, one and the same. To prevent the howling blizzard from consuming the city, she has borne the full brunt of it itself. 100 degrees below zero is the least of the cold she must endure. Locally, the temperature can fail as long as negative 270 degrees, more commonly known as absolute zero. A deluge of raw malevolence that would freeze immortal flesh on contact. All that keeps her from death is a torture device forged of iron and lead that she has affixed into her body. That armor, I guess? A groaning suit of metal armor. The vampire's corrosive power may twist the laws of nature, but her armor, woven from concepts, exists outside them. Before it adorned her body, this coffin was called an Iron Maiden, an instrument of death, designed to bleed its occupant dry with 1,000 needles. Let she who claims innocence prove it within. Survive shall damn her, while death shall clear her name. Those words led many to the Iron Maiden in the Dark Ages, cementing its legacy as a symbol of fear. But do not despair, for all alike shall face the same end. The coffin spares none but the innocent, or be they innocent or witch. Those locked within the Iron Maiden may find freedom only in death. Yeah, honestly, this looks like a armor of a servant in a fate, let's say a fate game, a fate show. To fall on the mercy of its perverse court is to be condemned to expire in captivity. A cursed iron ball gown, a conceptual weapon that serves only to inflict pain. And yet Executor embraces it in all its cruelty. Death is the only escape from its clutches. But that is all to say, until death comes, it will never release its hold. That is true nature, or that is true nature. This coffin cannot be destroyed by external trauma, only by its wearer's atrophy. Not even the most hostile environment could breach its defenses. Including this hyperboreal cold, no torment from without could surpass that found within. Does it constitute proof of innocence? Does it was christened virgin pain? Regalia which embodies a protracted death at the torturer's hand. It is a saint's purity and providence guaranteeing her life so long as her magical energy is not exhausted, so long as she is not proven a witch. A voice echoes in the white darkness. Words finally pried from the vampire's mouth, not by the cold, but by true admiration for his enemy's tenacity.
だが、それにも限度がある。仮に貴様が無限に死に続けられるとしても、戦いは相手を殺さねば収まらん。
She knows that he is right. Defense alone does not beget victory. A human stands no chance against the concentrated wrath of nature. Everything in her vicinity is a blade pointed at her throat. A barrage of icicles pummels her body. Her gun is sent spinning from her hands. It comes to rest far out of reach, planted into the ground like a grave marker.
さて、唯一の武器を落とした大公者。
He speaks as though this battle has already ended.
拾いに走るがいい。その背中を俺の槍が打ち砕く。
The vampire is always aware of the peculiarities of his foe's armor. As such, he knows it can only be destroyed by a stronger concept, a more potent curse. The extreme cold that surrounds him is a psychological or physiological function like breathing. It is no weapon. It cannot hope to shatter his enemy's aegis. There's only one answer to the concept of indestructibility, neutralizing it with its opposite. And here, fate favors his hand, for the knight's lance bestowed upon him by his lord came with a promise: in the hands of a vampire there is nothing it cannot sunder. The battle weigh almost as heavily on Vlov as on CL. An errant strike is a risk he cannot take. So he has disarmed his foe to the better to secure his killing blow.
よく言いましたね。動けぬかかしの分際で。
Perhaps to his surprise, the executor leaves her gun where it lies. It might be her primary weapon, but she is hardly defenseless without it. If anything, she was already looking for an opportunity to switch arms. The intricate machinery of an assault rifle is poorly suited to the bitter cold. She knows it was only a matter of time before it jammed. It merely set the stage for her true fighting companion.
主の皆において第三の死因よ、キヨ。
The girl recites an incantation to herself. True fighting was a new weapon or what? Long-range firearms are insufficient to keep her opponent pinned down. The time has come for her to draw her blade, the time for close combat. Okay. As a big sword, the saint's blade rears its head. A gun and some armor is not all that makes up her arsenal. Blaze via immolation, sick via affliction, blade via ensanguination, break via traumatization, lost via damnation, pain via excruciating, punish via execution. 7 causes of death said to be the fates humans must endure. This is the true nature of our holy scripture. These deaths given form and wielded as weapons. With a bestial roar, she sprints through the white hellscape. Heat and magical energy blaze in her wake, propelling her even or ever faster. The glacial underfoot cracks with every bound as she closes in on her prey. Iron smashes against ice. The girl brandishes a brutal tool designed solely for rending of flesh. A sword-like monster centipede, its legs the blades of a guillotine's threaded along a whip-like spine. This pulverizing weight proudly wears the name Blade. She won. She slashed him. A punctured chest, a severed arm, a skull cleaved wide open. The executor's blade mercilessly deals one fatal blow after another. But still, a victory remains out of reach. A vampire is an immortal being capable of recovering instantaneously from wounds that would kill any other living thing. To Vlov, this impossibly heavy weapon is as threatening as a cool breeze. For now, a spark alights in his cold, lifeless eyes. Realizing that the laceration in his chest, arm, and head are not fading, the vampire finally reaches an understanding. He is filled with neither anger nor hate. Within him, a new emotion is thawing, joy.
人間の流儀はどこに置いてきた女。この剣筋は人を殺すために人が編み出したものではないか。
The executor swings her weapon again in lieu of answering. But her fourth attack does not connect. The vampire's memory, lost to centuries of cold and solitude, has been resurrected by her swordsmanship. No more is he a mindless blight upon the world. Now he is once again the knight who overthrew his former lord.
なぜ知っているという顔だな。27層剣僧ベゼ。
Beze of the 27 ancestors.
俺も昔一度だけ教えを受けた。時代を見るに、そうか。お前が最後の門弟か。
Two anomalous weapons clash against each other. A 3-meter lance carved from ice, and a 2-meter sword that coils like a serpent. A human could barely hope to lift either, let alone swing it. And yet these warriors handle them with exquisite precision. The two are evenly matched in power, but it is clear which of them has the upper hand. The vampire's memory has been reawakened by the girl's blade, while her agility only deteriorates with each passing second. This battle was skewed against one fighter from its onset.
いいぞ、剣の腕は互角か貴様が上だ。だが人間であることが災いしたな。この結界、果たしてあと何分持つ。
The vampire spear roars as it pierces the air. The executor's sword turns it aside. Their battle transcends the bounds of human comprehension, raging on seemingly without end. Nevertheless, they hurtle toward a single moment that will decide everything. As soon as the girl shows the slightest sign of faltering, the knight will not hesitate to drive his lance through her heart. Is it over? No, I mean, it looks like the cage is gonna shudder. Or shatter, I mean shatter. The frozen cage just shudders. A cubic world expanding and contracting. The dark blue of its transparent walls has deepened to a murky black. Distant thunder rumbles from within, like the final scream of a creature faced with death. It's not going to last much longer. Even I can tell that this was a desperate gambit.
四季君、嘘、本当に来たの？ダメ、上に戻りなさい。シエルさんから部外者が来たら追い返すように言われているの。
What is it? Yeah, what is Miss Noelle carrying? Yeah, look at the purple one right in her hands. What is that? Is that an accessory for her halberd?
今さら戻れません。
It looks like a fluffy balls, 2 fluffy balls.
それよりどうなってるんですかこれ。
どうって見ての通り、土地ごとグローブを封印したんだけど全然効かなかったの。応援は来ないし太陽は沈んじゃうしね。こうなったら逃げてもいい状況だったのに、あの子ったら一人で何とかするとか言い出して、出てきたブローブごと大聖堂をこの大きさまで圧縮して中に飛び込んじゃったのよ。そ それが1時間前の話。
So I was right. CL and Vlov are in there. I'd guess that Vlov was about to escape the rubble when CL, realizing that he was going to destroy the city, trapped him in a cage and then went inside herself to fight him. If it weren't for that cube, the blizzard I saw underground would have swallowed all of Soya by now. Arcuade, yeah, she did say that much.
けどなんで先輩まで中に閉じ込めたんだから先輩が入る必要はないでしょ。
I mean, no one was gonna stop Vlov, right? So if she trapped him there, and then she didn't fight him, nothing's gonna happen. She needed to defeat him to end this.
あるわよ。あの結界はブローブの汚染を抑えるもので、ブローブ本体を抑えるものじゃないわ。誰かが中でブローブを仕留めないといけないの。
Yeah, like the cage or the bounded field, it's not gonna last if no one is gonna stop him.
じゃあブローブを倒さない限り先輩は出てこないんですか。
So basically she's protecting the outside world while fighting, yeah, by fighting Vlov inside.
でも無理27層正面から撃退するなんていくらあの子でも絶対無理。あの呪いを一人で受け止めてるだけでも嘘みたいな奇跡なのに。
Look at her, look at how scared she is. Ms. Noel is teetering on the brink of hysteria. The situation must be truly dire to have someone far more experienced with vampires than I am this rattled.
くそ。
I look up at the cube's implaceable walls. Although its contents are clearly visible, the black blizzard within is like a different world. The cube is only 40 meters on each side, but its interior looks far larger than the crater it's standing in. A box that distorts space and time, in which CL is fighting for her life against an immortal monster.
勝ってる。先輩は負けてないのに。
She is valiant, determined, unyielding. She isn't giving Vlov a single inch. But this blizzard is sapping her strength and freezing her bones. It's incredible that she can even move at all. If only this had been a fair fight. If only she hadn't had to create this cage to stop the spread of the cold. If she had fought him on even terms, she would have been beaten by now. I grind my teeth in frustration. These conditions are far too unfair. Her body's far too battered right now. She no longer has the strength to defeat Vlov alone. She needs someone else, another hand to support her, to fight for her, to give her the will to carry on. I take off my glasses. I take a hard look at the barrier, at my enemy within. Vlov might be too powerful for me to take on by myself, but I would have been hers to wield if only she'd asked. The fingertips I've unconsciously stretched out freeze over in an instant. I can't go in there, I'll die. Remember what happened when you got too close to Vlov last time? Human beings can't function in that kind of cold. Our blood freezes, our cells rupture, our brains die. We aren't made to duel with vampires. Besides, I am far too late. I watch her silhouettes speed towards each other in the snowstorm. The armored girl has grown too slow, by far. Too sluggish to avoid the lance closing on her like a thunderbolt. Did she lose? I see her figure run through a scent flying, pinned against the wall of her own cubic world, like a sinner on the cross. And as her body breaks, so does her bounded field.
大変大変でも今からじゃ間に合わない私も氷漬けになっちゃう
Okay, it broke. Arcuate is just watching there. She's on top and just watching everything happening here. With Zeal's defeat, her gothic fort shatters. The world of Freeze is over. An Arctic front spreads outwards at 160 kilometers per hour, devouring everything in its path. In its midst, Ciel's body arcs through the air like a ragdoll. And all I can do is watch as everything comes to ruin.
いや、違う。
The end I brace for never comes. As expected, a blast of frigid air swallows the crater. But I don't freeze, or rather I feel a warmth rise within me, fighting back the cold. I open my eyes and look up. The Arctic front has stopped short of the city. The blizzard rages on, but only within the confines of the crater. And on a rooftop far above it all, with her arm raised high and the scowl on her face, I see Arcuade.
あいつ
I find myself grinning uncontrollably. Judging by the ice sheeting on the ground, the air is still less than negative 40 degrees, but I can breathe without issue. The apparent temperature might even be closer to freezing warm enough for a human like me to survive for at least a few more minutes. I sense that it is Arcuade's best offer. Helping Ciel remains a line she won't cross, but she's upheld her promise as best as she can by keeping Vlov contained. She's still protecting us and the city at large.
なら
Now, it's all up to me. It's Shiki time. I have to save Ciel and put an end to Vlov. Something tells me that those two goals are one and the same. What do we choose here? I look towards Ciel, or I look towards Vlov. We'll choose look towards Ciel. I turn my gaze to Ciel. The same strike that shattered her bounded field buried her under a mountain. She's lying about 50 meters away. First things first, I have to help her. Keeping one eye on Vlov, I dash through the snowstorm. Ciel has been launched to the very edge of the crater into a particularly large mound of debris.
先輩しっかりしてくれ先輩
I call her name, trying to bring her around. She's covered in cuts and scrapes, but I don't see much blood. Her armor has come loose, exposing the layer of clothing beneath. In answer to my cries, the swell of her chest, deathly still, until now, visibly shudders. Thank goodness she's alive.
聞こえますか苦しいだろうけど起きてシエル先輩
She was gonna say, Tana-kun. I glance at Vlov out of the corner of my eyes as I check her over. And my blood runs cold. He was completely still until a moment ago, but now he's walking ponderously towards us, step by step. His lance was shattered by the blow that finished Ciel, leaving a smaller spear in its place. His left arm, which I cut off in the catacombs, has returned, but it hangs limply by his side. The restoration must be purely cosmetic. In function, it remains dead. It's not hard to see that it's close to exhaustion, which makes his intention all the clearer. He marches forth in defiance of his failing body to deliver the killing blow to his cornered prey.
先輩、よかった、気がついた。話は後です。早く起きて。グローブが来ます。
はい、ありがとうござ。なんで遠野くん？夢じゃないですよね。バカなんですかあなたは。なんで本当に来てるんですか？あんなに家に帰ってくださいってお願いしたじゃないですか。
A dumbfounded CL berates me from where she lies. I definitely can't blame her for being angry, but this isn't the time.
怒るのは後。もう引っ張りますよ。いいですね。ってうわ、重っ。先輩、すげえ重くないですか？
I mean, it's probably the armor, man, and it's so cold. That's why the armor is so heavy.
遠野くんは非力なだけです。平均よりちょっとあるだけです。
So she's getting angry right now because we called her heavy.
いいから早く逃げて。あなたは関係ありません。今ならまだ間に合うはずです。
CL tries to break free from my grip. Even in her current state, she's still concerned about me.
逃げれば助かるんですか？
I let my heart speak for me. She must know as well as I do that running won't save me now. There's nothing to be gained by trying and plenty to be lost. At best, it would buy me no more than a short reprieve. If we can't defeat Volov right here and right now, this is the end.
遠野くん、それは。
そうだろう、先輩。逃げても解決しない。戦うしかない。さっきみんなのために先輩がそうしたように。
That night, when she told me that I could still be
本
redeemed,
当の意味で助かりたいのなら、怖くてもここであいつを殺さないと。
after all, what else am I good for? Murder on a hair trigger is my only talent. But so what? This battle doesn't have to be my redemption. Even if I'm only proving myself a murderer. If it'll put an end to the death looming over us, I'll gladly leap back into the mouth of hell.
とにかく任せて。一緒にやらせてくれ、先輩。
確かに遠野くんはブローブの腕を切り落としましたけど。いえ、ダメです。だって理由がない。あなたにはそれだけのことをする理由がありません。
It isn't that she's denying my reason for being here. She's refusing to use me to win a battle I have no stake in. She must be an angel. Why else would she be trying to protect a life so worthless as mine?
それじゃご褒美をください。あいつをやっつける手助けをしたら。
Damn it, I can't think of anything on the spur of the moment. The only reward that comes to mind is what's in front of me. Frankly, I can't tear my eyes away from her. The sight of her shapely form would drive any man mad with desire. As a healthy teenage boy, it's only natural that I can't help but come up with such ideas, though I'm sure saying any of them aloud would only earn me a punch in the face. So I'll set my sights a little lower. Should I ask for her number? For a friend request? Damn it. What am I even thinking? I can do that anytime. I'm such an idiot, but I feel myself smiling and realize that this is the perfect way to do it. I mean, I like this person. I really like her. She's the reason I'm here in the first place. So what's wrong with imagining it's tomorrow with her, even with love bearing down on us?
決まった。今度先輩の弁当を分けてください。 それで手を打ちます。もちろん手作りで。
Yes, we're gonna eat a lot of curry, so you gotta go up.
はあ？でも私料理なんて1個ぐらいしか作れません。
Yeah, she only knows how to make curry.
じゃあそれでとっておきっぽくていいですね。
I don't have any clever tricks up my sleeve. I don't even have a coherent strategy. I'm just running my mouth because I know we're out of time. I force myself to look away from CL, focusing on Vlov. I know what I have to do. I'm going to use my eyes for her. As I seal my resolve, someone takes my trembling hand from behind.
先輩。
2つ必ず守ってください。吸血鬼の正面には立たないで背後に回ることに専念する。
はい。あと一つは。
私のことは何があっても考えないように。もう言うまでもありませんが鉄みたいに頑丈ですから。
Her voice is steeped in self-depreciation, or self-deprecation, and shame. It instantly sends me crashing back down to earth. I curse myself for forcing those words from her lips. With a nod, I let go of her hand. I immediately miss the softness of her touch. I step away from her and face down the approaching vampire. The massacre at the hotel, the nightmare of the catacombs. I recall the horrors I've seen, reach out to them for strength, and then stop myself. I have a minute left at most before my body starts to falter. In that time, I need to cast aside my human emotions. I leave both fear and euphoria behind. Until this is done, I will trust my eyes and become an instrument of death. A fleeting thought crosses my mind. That the flame of life, burning high and bright, shines like the stars above. For the first time, our eyes meet. Vlov registers my presence. I might be as fragile as any other human, but my sting is deadly toxic. He knows full well that he ignores me at his peril. For a moment, I even wonder if we might talk face to face. But mutual understanding means nothing to us. I don't consider him a living being, and he sees me as nothing more than an object. Thus, we are, or are we equal in each other's eyes? We already know all we need to of one another. I close the distance between us at a sprint. 40 meters woefully short of our final engagement. 4 seconds on the clock, 2 breaths in my lungs. He sends his spears of ice flying past me. Vlov is no fool. He would rather finish CL off before she can recover than waste his time on me. No time to look back. Grinding my teeth, I enter his striking range. A knife against a spear. There is no contest between our respective reaches. To get close enough to cut his lines of death, I must first weather the incoming strike. His spear shoots towards my chest, propelled by inhuman strength. Evasion is out of the question. How? I don't know, but this vampire is no longer a simple force of nature. A spark gleams in his eyes, reason and experience guide his hand. He no longer relies on sheer brute force. In other words, we are one and the same. 2 creatures fighting desperately for their own survival. His spear never gets close. A blow from behind me knocks it wildly aside. The bond of battle we share grants me a glimpse of CL's true power. This woman's parameters exceed Vlov's and mine put together. If we are single-purpose tools, then she is advanced machinery. She begins, or so begins, our 60-second waltz. The executor trades blows with the vampire, face to face. The assassin circles with his blade, searching for an opening. The knight keeps both foes in sight, careful never to leave his back unguarded. Our clashing blades weave a deadly melody, a symphony of steel played with razor precision. TL's guillotine blades swing in spiral formation. My knife treads its way through the gaps. Spears of ice knock them both aside, trying to disrupt our harmony. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Our performance is improvised, but we follow the steps to perfection. She creates openings for me to slip into, and I take care not to tread on her toes. Together we dance on the edge of a night. Electricity crackles between us, growing ever stronger. With every second my focus sharpens. To kill my foe, I must keep my eyes on him. Never have I gazed so long into a single death. It's spellbinding, and in its deepest, darkest depths. I glimpse the light of a principle, something beyond my mortal comprehension. A light that a human mind, with its understanding constructed from language and memory, should not be able to see. But death is a universal 0 point, and through that lens, my mind's eyes shift into focus. I see memories of snowfields. I see memories of persecution. I see memories of exile. I see memories of salvation. I see memories of rebellion. I see a single night story brought to an end. Convicted in false charges, driven from his home by political machinations. What is that again? Okay. Sent in punishment to the ends of the earth. To the uninhabitable wasteland of the Arctic Sea. Cast adrift in the frozen ocean, cursed to life in exile. Consumed by cold, consumed by pain, and when he was hollowed and spent, a woman like a rotted tree seeking refuge from kin and mankind alike proved his salvation. Spring came to him again for a time. He found joy in the flowers blooming in the snowfields, in the bird song in the barren trees, in the pleasant slaughter of men. He took 10 wives who gave him comfort. His loyalty to his lord was as steadfast as sturdy as glacier. But the pain within his soul was beyond healing. His thirst for warmth was beyond his power to fight. In his desperation to flee the knowing cold, he forsook his honor. While it may have been at another's behest, it was by his own hands that he snuffed out his only light. This is the truth of the man before me. This is the truth of the vampire named the Love. A creature forged of cold, of treachery, of exile, of remorse. Now, at last, I can kill him. A principle that can be expressed in human words lies within human reach. Rejoice, bloodsucker, for now I bring her final death. The sea below, the canopy above, sings in chorus. O ancestors, may you be cursed. O world of man, may ye be cursed. For this principle is not yet whole, and the foundation of this star is oh so frail. His naked fury scorches my skin. My consciousness returns to me with a jerk. I hear a voice, but I don't even have the strength to move my eyes. Stupid, foolish, I went too far. My head spins from a lack of oxygen. I'm too disoriented to look at CL. I can even follow the path of the spear bearing down on me. "20 meters opens between us in the span of a heartbeat. CL's arms encircle me from behind. She's hold me out of love's reach. I don't have time to catch my breath. I can feel his murderous ire even from here. All he desires in this moment is my death.
先輩、話してくれ。
I speak without turning around. The arms around my waist loosen their grip. Behind me, I hear the clank of a great weight being hefted.
お互い限界ですね。自分の体がどんな状態なのか把握していますか？
はい。もう右腕ぐらいしか上がりません。
The pain is searing through my eyes is beyond words. Orbs of flames burn in my eyes' sockets. My headache will probably split my skull open well before my lungs give out.
そうですか。では、まだ信じていいんですね。
もちろん。ここからが本番です。
I nod, wondering why I'm grinning. An odd bang twinges in my chest. I realize not for the first time how good it feels to be understood by someone else no matter the circumstances.
よし。行くよ、先輩。
任されました。まっすぐにできることだけをしてください。
No more detours. I launch myself straight for Vlov, with CL half a step behind me. A deluge of icicles flies forward to greet us. All of them are aimed to me as proof I have been elevated from nuisance to nemesis. But none of it hit their mark. With a deafening volley of gunfire, CL turns a lethal barrage into so much rain. I should have known this fighter would never retreat without reason. She only withdrew us to retrieve her dropped weapon. One more breath. In one more breath, I will sever that light. But the gulf separating me from it is vast. Love is just as hell-bent on survival as we are. Even weakened as he is, his abilities still far exceed human parameters. I have no hope of dodging his blow, not on my own. So I stake my life on CL. How did he weigh his options, I wonder? Me racing across the ground, CL is backing me up from the air. In this fraction of a second, he realized that CL is the greater threat, that she will be the one to kill him. And yet, in defiance of his screaming instincts, he chooses me, the insect crawling on the earth. This is no act of mindless rage, this is a warrior's intuition, deliberately suppressed by a force of will. He is a knight now, not some vampire mired in paranoid delusions. To choose a lesser foe constitutes a truly inhuman act of self-control. Anger alone could not explain this. No, this is pride that compels him, honor that he would give his very existence to defend. How noble, but also so foolish. The same foolishness that brought you to these foreign shores. An inescapable iron fist crashes down to earth. Here in this ultimate extreme, we have all bet our lives. She is no exception, as though lighting the way for me to follow.
その遠吠えは万里をたける。
Her blow splits the ground asunder and envelops the body with it. The impact causes his spear tip to falter. My head stays attached to my body by the grace of a few millimeters. An icicle punctures my left shoulder. No matter, I shake off the impact and close in. My knife slides into the vampire's chest with astonishing ease. I fall to the frozen ground, writhing in agony. My brain feels like it's on fire. My body is racked with pain stemming from the tip of my knife. As though I stabbed his chest with my bare fingers rather than the blade. Wait, he's still alive? Okay, I thought he died. Through the haze of pain, I vaguely realize my mistake. I looked too closely. It wasn't the vampire's body my knife found, but the fire burning within. I wasted my chance. If only I had kept my eyes on his death. If only I hadn't been distracted by the light, I could have killed him. Freed at last from the curse consuming his body and soul, now a mere dead apostle, he lunges towards me.
グローブアルハンゲリー。
But a serpentine blade blocks his path. CL's extending sword wraps around him and begins to squeeze. The guillotine spins with a metallic clatter. A tornado springs up around the executor, launching the vampire high into the air.
命が燃える人は嫌。知力は脆く知恵すら解ける。慣れた救いは土の中、暗殺こそ我が解ける。
Her weapon transforms. In place of a sword, she holds an oversized stake driver, primed to skewer the vampire as he falls.
待て。その洗礼は。
Inescapable death rises to greet him. Her blow does not so much spear his chest as shatter his torso, yet his talons still reach out, grasping.
貴様、そうか、貴様もか。どこまでも小賢しい蛇。死ね、死ね、死ね、死ね。俺はお前たちに倒されるなど。
The raw hatred this monster spews is now beyond what I have seen before.
滅びなさい吸血鬼。花は胸にクレアトゥーラ・デルシオ。
His dying scream rises to the heavens. There is no forgiveness, no mercy to be found here. Her stake is a hammer of judgment, and his verdict is annihilation. Did we win? Is it over? Looks like it.
なんだ。結 局先輩だけでよかったんじゃないか。
I roll over to lie face up, looking towards the sky. Pride and shame do battle in my chest. But my heart lungs cry for joy as finally I take a long, belated breath. I can move a muscle. I can't even tell whether I'm still holding my knife. All I can be sure of is the throbbing in my skull and my rapidly fading consciousness. The vein in my skewered shoulder, the blood oozing from my shredded limbs. All of it feels dull, as though I've been anesthetized. I just about managed to slip on my glasses to soothe my headache before my batteries are run out completely dry.
遠野くん、しっかり生きていますか？
Dimly, I hear CL's voice. I want to raise a hand to show her there's no need to worry, but I can't lift a single finger.
遠野くん、遠野くん、呼吸はしていますね。心臓も動いている。なのに目を覚まさないなんて、もしかして頭が。
いや、その言い方はあんまりな気がします。
It's a good thing CL wrapped her arms around me and hold me upright. With that blood finally draining from my head, I find the strength to speak.
よかった。いえ、よくないです。なんかもうボロボロじゃないですか。無謀すぎます。なんだってあんなことをしたんですか？
All that seems so trivial now. She sounds genuinely flustered, though my eyes were working well enough to see her face.
ですね。全くです。先輩の言う通り、無謀でした。本当に、めちゃくちゃ怖かった。
I heave an enormous sigh.
もう、今頃になってそんなことを言うなんて、困った人ですね。でも、怖かったってどのくらい怖かったんですか？噂に聞いた、遠野くんの妹さんぐらい？
The fabled wrath of your sister.
自覚してますからいじめないでください。こんなのは二度とごめんです。
I bite back playfully. That only encourages CL all the more.
はい、強がるところが可愛いです。
And she grins. A bolt of agony from my shoulder tears through my consciousness.
ごめんなさい。今は治療が先でした。肩の傷は、骨は折れていませんね。よかった。これなら私でも治療できそうです。他に痛いところはありませんか？
It hurts. It hurts everywhere.
はい。遠野くん？もしもし？
As long as you're here, I know I'll be alright. With those words on my lips, my eyelids droop close. All I see is the moon above me. Its pale light recalls the face of my utter absent partner in crime. Arcuade, where is she? Arcuade, what should I say when I see her next? Should I tell her off for breaking her promise or thank her for saving my life? Either way, picturing her face makes me feel.
はい。おやすみなさい、遠野くん。後のことは私に任せて。どうかゆっくり休んでください。
The lullaby of her whispered voice is the last thing I hear. For the first time in 2 long days, I fall into a deep sleep. Oh no. Why did they keep showing this? Spider. The Spider-Man. Okay, let's take a break here for now. That was really intense, I'm not gonna lie. Very long reading for the battles today. And it was nice. It was a little bit different. So by the way, for you, which one did you like most? Or like, not most, but like more, I mean. So Arcuate and Shiki versus Vlov, or CL and Shiki versus Vlov. For me personally, I think I liked the Arcuate one. Yeah, or in the Arcuate route with Arcuate and Shiki versus Vlov. I like the ending to that one compared to this one. This one was, I guess it was okay as well. But I liked the other one where Shiki was the one who finished Vlov, right? And it was nice, but I mean, this was nice, the CL one. But I just like the other one better. So yes, for you, who do you like more? Tell me, I want to know. So anyways, we're gonna take a break here for now, and we're gonna continue this and do more of Tsukihime, A Piece of Blue Glass Moon in the next one. So I'll just see you then, guys. Bye bye.